Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake. Mark Hines should be here shortly. We'll talk about some outdoor wildlife kind of stuff. Cowboy Kevin Meyer joins us. Make horse sense of the world. We will. And we're hoping to connect with David Clausen. Talk about a new survey done that shows even the church, even those in religion, are trending away from biblical worldview. For instance, a third of those claiming to be ardent Christians are also in support of socialism. I found that a little bit surprising. We'll discuss that kind of stuff, and I don't know what happened to Dr. Eric. Maybe he's an hour. Sometimes people are a whole hour off. I'm a whole day off today because I swear I'm reliving a Monday. And we'll figure out what happened to him. And yes, I know we're having some YouTube issues. We got our brightest minds on the job, not including Mark Hines. He's not.
I'm not the brightest mind. Leave me out of that one, Jake.
I'm glad you just played right into that, Mark. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, that's not one of my jobs. Okay, what is your sweet spot? Oh, I know. I'm going to have Aaron Turpin on tomorrow, our automotive guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And
he's cool. He knows a lot.
He does know a lot. And I particularly want to talk to him about a couple things, but you talked to him about this. I don't know that the love for square-bodied trucks, like the way trucks used to look, the Chevy, and I'm not a Chevy guy, but that Silverado got it right back in the 80s, like, oh, the blocky look of trucks is everything now looks the same because they put them in the wind tunnel and they're all doing aerodynamics and everything's a flying wedge now. I like the old blocky look, man, and so do a lot of people. Great story. 40 years later, Wyoming still loves its square-bodied, robust, blocky trucks. Me too.
Yeah. A lot of folks seem to have those.
And they're getting money. I notice this too. You'll see them come up on Facebook Marketplace or something, and I'm like, boy, he's asking $15,000 for that 40-year-old truck. Are you kidding?
Oh, yeah.
That's nothing.
And it used to be, not that long ago, it was just, maybe the truck your uncle drove for whatever reason. And now they're just like they're like the hot item. I'm talking about the 80s square bodies. I mean, the 70s square bodies have been cool for a while, and the Ford Highboys and those.
Yeah.
Those have been cool for a while, but it's like those mid 80s square bodies are, they're like all the rage. And just.
I used to have an 88 Ford, and it was already starting to undergo a rounding of everything. Every edge had to be rounded off.
They got a little bit rounder in the 80s,
Yeah, and then, but the squared up, I mean, chances are, if you're a ranch kid and you remember throwing hay off the back of this truck bed, chances are that vehicle is worth something today. You'd be surprised. You're thinking, man, this piece of junk, all I ever did is drive it in first gear. Our sister drove it when she was 9 years old, sitting on a bunch of phone books. We had to feed the cows off this thing. That thing, you're now sitting on a pot of gold, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Those trucks are back. They're in. I don't think they were ever out, but good story, Mark. I think you're right on the money with that. How about let's see. You had the elk that was caught in the fence.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
Yeah.
The guy was in the right place at the right time, and he took the time to do the right thing.
Yep.
Gave that elk a new lease on life. That's pretty cool.
And here's the thing he did. I have passed by wildlife that I'm pretty sure is just dead. Like, we're all going 70 miles an hour and we're all in a hurry to get where we're going. Who stops? Like, he saw it and he's like, oh, that elk's dead. And he stopped and he saw it still breathing. Like, that's what it took is, take a little time, man. And it's pretty cool. Like I said, he just took a few minutes out of his day and turned things around. So, yeah, and a lot of people are praising him for it, and I think justifiably so. Yes,
and you're right. A lot of us just was driven on by and not giving it a second thought.
But the elk had its back legs stuck in barbed wire fence. Barbed wire, the evil devil's rope. There's nothing good about barbed wire. Ugh, and who knows how long that thing was struggling there? 5 hours at least, because he drove by like. And then, he said it didn't pop up when he freed it, but he drove by later and it was gone. And I'm just going to choose to believe.
Moved on. Yeah. There was no evidence that they'd been shot and dragged off or anything nefarious like that. So evidently that bull got up and walked away. That was a cool story. That was a fun one to do.
Yeah. All right, Mitchell Wolf, you're our hero of the day. Nice. What else did you write on? More aminals? Probably.
More aminals?
Walleye, yeah.
Walleye,
Do we need walleye in Wyoming?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some of us, Jake, believe it or not, some of us still fish because we like to eat it. Not that.
Right, you are. I do not eat fish. I like to fish, and I used to like to catch walleye back east. But, in the Midwest, but real walleye in Wyoming. I mean,
well, I live, right since I moved to Riverton. I live right near Boise, and that's premier walleye fishery.
Okay, but walleye, to keep population up with anglers getting after them, you got to have hatcheries. They certainly help. The population.
Yeah, and Game and Fish is trying to, not knocking the operation out of North Dakota, but it's just, it's like anything else. If it's possible to do it at home, it's better to do it at home. And so they're, that Spees hatchery outside of Casper, they're gearing up to, revise it and expand it and, make it more of a production center for what they call those warm, cold water fish, the game fish, not just walleye, but, some largemouth bass and, tiger muskies and some other species that, besides trout. And, I'm not knocking trout. People love to fish for them for a reason, but, as table fare, I just think those, those game fish are better. Me personally,
Walleye is better eaten. Mark. Mark Hines, November 18th.
Well, bluegill. I think bluegill's another species they might, because I used to eat a slew of those when I was in Idaho.
Oh.
When I lived in southern Idaho, I used to catch and eat bluegill all the time. Yeah, those are really good little fish.
Okay.
As far as table fare, but.
What's the deal with these buffler that don't know where they belong?
The buffler, the bison. No, it's not that they don't know where they belong. It's like humans came along and put this arbitrary state line. It's anything else. It's like, hey, what's over there? And what's over there is Colorado. They're coming out of the the legendary Book Cliffs region of Utah. Everybody and their dog wants to draw a mule deer tag there in the Book Cliffs area, but good luck. But no, they also have a pretty robust herd of bison there, and they're starting to mosey on over to Colorado, and Colorado went ahead and got them designated as wildlife. The main reason so that people, because previously if you killed one, I guess there really wasn't much. If it's not wildlife, there's nothing they could do. But now if somebody kills a bison, they can get them for poaching or, illegal take of wildlife or whatever the charges might be. So, at least up until now, there isn't that, that gigantic controversy with the herd in the Greater Yellowstone, particularly in Montana. Is there a brucellosis vector?
Oh, yeah.
And so when they want to move out of the park, it causes all kinds of, wailing and gnashing of teeth. But apparently this this book Cliff's Herd, they've been monitoring it pretty diligently, and they have yet to find brucellosis in it. So that factor is not at play. But of course, bison are big and they go through fences and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. They still consider them to be kind of visitors at this point. They don't see them as a viable, resident reproducing population. But maybe they'll give, maybe at some point, Colorado will have its very own, wild, free-ranging bison herd.
I think Colorado will never recognize bison as long as Wyoming has it on its state flag. Just to be contrary, with Colorado be like, nope.
They'll never be as cool as us.
Yeah, they'd be like, buffalo's a pest. We don't acknowledge it. Hey, I love to learn about Matt Guthmiller, the pilot out of Alpine, who we can see on the Disney Plus channel. Now, this sounds like a really neat show. The worst flight around the world, Disney Plus new reality show.
The way he explained it to me, they started out. The concept goes all the way back to 2020 when they first reached out to him about it. And I guess they kind of wanted to make it this sober, serious documentary. And and at some point they're like, nah, let's make it a goofy comedy. and I guess it works.
Yeah, most of that was because of the other guy, Juan Pazarita. Yeah. They're like, man, we got a guy who's like a Spanish comedian, another dude, Matt, who doesn't speak any Spanish. He's going to be the straight guy. He's trying to fly an air. Guy's probably like, hey, what's this button do? That's fun.
That's kind of cool. That is cool. That's awesome that he got to do that. So and he did a solo flight around the world when he was 19. So
at that time, the youngest to have done it.
I know. God, when I was 19, I couldn't get down the street without getting in trouble. So let's go all the way around the world. I don't know what you were like at 19, but
I didn't have the gas money to go around the world. I'll tell you that. I remember putting $5 in at a time, and that was a lot.
$5. Put $5 in your square body and think that you were living high on the hog.
Right. That was just to cruise Main Street Friday night. I never really went anywhere.
No.
All right. Yeah. Michelob Light in the Albertsons parking lot.
Lord have mercy.
The joys.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Jake. Have a good one.
You too. Cowboy State Daily Show with Mark Hines. Read more about that Wyoming pilot. He's flies in and out of Alpine, Star Valley. That's like a half-hour drive from me. Cool guy, Matt Guthmiller. He plays the straight man. Thank goodness the pilot's the straight man. The funny guy is Juan Pazarita, who made fame on his YouTube channel. Together, Disney Plus contacted both of them. They said, we got this idea of making a reality show out of you two. And both of them said, what? And then they said, no, really, we're Disney Plus, and we want to make a show. We're going to call it The Worst Flight Around the World. What could possibly go wrong? Matt Guthmiller, pilot out of Alpine, Wyoming, and a Mexican comedian, Juan Pazarita. That Disney Plus show premiered November 7th. It's available now on Disney Plus. I think I have a Disney Plus subscription, but I have it through YouTube, and YouTube's been fighting with Disney Plus, and if those two entities can work out their dispute, maybe I can see this show. I don't know. We're going to take a break, get in here with Kevin Meyer right after this. Cowboy State Daily Radio Show continues.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Mom, I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuck.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Cowboy State Daily Show. We finally figured out what was going on with our YouTube streams. Sorry, I apologize for that. It was not me. In fact, I breathed a huge sigh of relief knowing that I didn't do it. And that's all that matters, right, Kevin? Just to be the guy who said, I didn't do it.
Well, I figured it was probably me since I was supposed to be on here, and I am what I refer to as computer cancer.
Yeah.
If a computer is going to crash, it is going to be in my presence.
You did it. Kevin Meyer did it. No, I was, there's a Cloudflare outage. There's a known, it's probably the Chinese hacking us, is all I can assume. Or it was the solar flares, the sun spitting poison at us. Or it was Wade's lights, Wade's house in Evanston. Have you don't spend enough time on the interwebs to even know of that, do you?
No, I don't know anything about Wade's house.
Okay. Just checking.
But I do know that we had a giant power outage here over on this side of the state here last week. Did that affect you guys at all?
Yeah, no, it did not get west of the divide. So it was all, on your half. We were fine. Cody, Star Valley, Jackson, Evanston, we didn't feel it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. That caused a bit of chaos there for a little while.
Yeah, what did it mean for you? I mean, 90% of your life is outdoors. Did you even notice? But you probably have lights on in the barn or the riding arena or something.
Yeah, we had the lights on, and of course that was a time that we were trying to get some pictures taken, so we had to have the right lighting. And then, of course, what that power outage really meant to me, and another little cowboy life hack for you. Go ahead and do the maintenance on your generators before the power goes out, because I have 3 generators, and guess how many of them would start?
3.
1.
Oh, well.
But it had been so long since I'd started that one that the seal around the fuel outlet had dry rotted. So, yeah, it would run, but it was spraying gasoline like a lawn sprinkler. So guess what I'm doing this week, Jake?
Either fixing or buying new generators.
No, I'm riding horses. The generators will take care of themselves.
Oh, you're just going to go right back to ignoring them. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just kick that can down the road. I'll worry about panicking later.
You're never going to be a guy we're going to put under that column of learned his lesson, Kevin Meyer. Nope, we're not going to see. No, you're going to ignore. Yeah, generators are just, we're all excited about them when we buy them, install them. We try them out for the first time. Let's see what happens when we trip the breaker and the generator comes on. You're like, oh, that's great. And then 3 years later, when the power goes out, man, you're like, oh, crap, I forgot all about those generators.
Yeah, they just get, set into the very back corner of the barn, and they get covered with boxes, horseshoes, and everything else that you need a impromptu shelf for.
Yeah.
And then the power goes out, and you go into panic mode, and you try to figure that stuff out, and that's just how life goes.
And they got a bunch of rotten gas or diesel in them. Even if they do come on, they're probably all gummed up. Interesting.
One of the funniest things that has ever been said to me was I was at a car dealership looking at some vehicles, and the salesman who's trying to butter me up said, well, you look like a guy who really maintains his equipment. And I just started laughing out loud because that's not me.
He should have pegged you for a guy. You look like a guy who is here for a horse, not a pickup truck.
Yeah, he should have said, you look like the type of guy that I can fool into buying the undercarriage spray for $500.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching this. That's funny. I was watching this morning. I don't know why it popped up in my algorithm, but it was advice on what you should, advice from a 42-year car salesman on the worst things to do, the biggest mistakes you could make when going to the dealership and buying a car. And one of the big ones was to declare whether you were going to finance or pay in cash. It's one of the first things they'll ask you. Are you going to finance this or are you paying in cash? Because the price difference could be huge because, these dealerships love to get you on their financing they found for you. So you never tell them, Kevin, till the end.
No.
Say, let me hear the price first. I'll tell you if I'm paying cash or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, nowadays with the price of new vehicles, paying cash for one, those days may have waved bye-bye for everybody but the Bitcoin folk.
Yeah. Who can afford that? Even who can afford the old vehicles? 40-year-old Chevy Silverados going for $27,000 because people want that blocky look. I love that look too, when trucks looked like trucks.
And remember when you could tell what brand the vehicle was just driving down the road before you ever saw the emblem? Now they all look the same, and especially SUVs. Those SUVs, there is 400 different ones of them, and they all look just exactly the same.
Yeah, all of them. I don't know. People say, oh, yeah, I'm driving the Ford Explorer. I'm like, which one? Everything out here looks like a Ford Explorer. Yeah, I know. They're all the same. There's no creativity. Nobody's making an Edsel. Nobody's making anything so wild and game-changing that we're like, ooh, I got to have that. We're going to have Aaron Turpin on the show tomorrow, and he'll tell us why the automotive industry doesn't make anything good or fun anyway.
Well, that will be something I will definitely tune in for, because I would like to have some answers because of a guy such as myself, Jake, as you well know, having been in the same similar business as me. You sit on that saddle all day and your mind just wanders and you ponder some of the most ridiculous things in the world, and you really do believe that you have come up with a rational decision on every single thing that's ever happened, and then you go listen to the news or talk to somebody else and it completely collapses everything, that house of cards that you had so meticulously mentally built.
Time in the saddle makes geniuses of all of us. In fact, there's a word for that I learned today. Let me share that with you. Let me drop a big dime word on you. Now I've lost that too. I don't know what I did with I made a whole mess of notes.
I'm telling you, your computer's not going to work as long as I'm on this screen, Jake.
You're right. You are affecting it even over Zoom. Dude, it's
my superpower.
It is your superpower. Yeah, I had my fancy word of the day, which is the word means someone who loves to share their information about stuff that's like not in their lane. You know, when you say stay in your lane, like people that share with the utmost confidence about whatever. Oh, quantum theory? Yeah, let me tell you, string theory, you know, and your job is a garbage man, you know. There was a word for that.
I believe we used to call that blowhard.
Yeah. Big bag of air. Okay, here's the pressing question of the day that I want to ask all my guests, and I've only remembered to ask you now. Do you think President Trump will do the Thanksgiving turkey pardon, the traditional presidential pardon for a turkey? Do you think he'll do it, or will he just, for some reason, not?
Okay, insert deportation joke here, right? Is that what you were serving up for me?
I wasn't even thinking about that, but perhaps. Will he have ICE come and arrest the turkey and pull it out of the Butterball program and say, you got to go back to wherever turkeys are from?
That might be a bit too on point, but boy, that is actually a great question because, you know, I know that Trump, he likes to stir the pot, so to speak. So I'm going to go, it's 50-50 here. He either pardons it or goes ahead and chops its head off right there on the South Lawn and goes ahead and tells the executive chef to cook that thing up. You know, at this point, not just with Trump, but with everybody in government, nothing would surprise me at all anymore.
I know. And if you want, I'm offering my advice. If you want to run as a Democrat for the presidential race next time, here's my suggestion. Your total platform. Are you listening, AOC, or whoever else the Democrats could put up there as presidential material? Never mind fixing healthcare. Never mind the Epstein files. The most pressing thing, the most important thing you could do to get votes is tell everybody you're going to tear down Trump's ballroom. Probably as soon as it gets finished after 3 years of construction, as soon as he gets all this gold-plated ballroom up, just promise people on the campaign trail, first thing I'm going to do when I get in office is tear that ugly thing down. You'll probably win.
Oh, I absolutely believe that's going to be part of the platform. Is we're going to tear it down and we're going to reverse everything that Trump has ever done.
Right.
I have no doubt, because that is what it's turned into. Is not we have better ideas. It's just we're going to oppose Trump no matter what. And really, that kind of goes the other way as well. It's right now. I used to say we've reverted back to junior high. But I don't remember junior high being this bad.
This petty. Right. We're going back even farther than that. Like, it's just foolish 8-year-old stuff. But you're right. Nobody has anything positive in their platform. They just promised to erase everything the last idiot did. Tear down the statues, take a wrecking ball to that ballroom, stuff like that. Yeah, that's the way it's become, politics.
Well, we got that solved anyway.
Yeah, although we could use that ballroom today because Trump's hosting the Saudi Arabian prince. He's getting cozy with Saudi Arabia. He's selling them a bunch of fighter jets.
Well, good. Nothing bad can come of that, can it?
No, that's Saudi Arabian. Like, what are they going to use jet for? What? Who is Saudi Arabia mad at other than us or Israel? Or, what do they need fighter jets for?
I mean, we can certainly trust the Saudis. They've never done us wrong, right?
I mean, they are. It's important to be friendly with them for the oil, although we have our own oil now. I don't know. Look at us. We're not going to solve world problems.
Someday they'll listen to us, Jake. Someday they'll listen to us, you know. I heard a rumor that you're the #1 morning show in Wyoming.
Yeah, Joe Rogan who?
Exactly. Now,
that's right.
I started that rumor, but it's still out there.
I've gone as far as I can go live streaming with this set of breasts. It's it's my hope to one day advance to like double our viewership, but I'm going to have to alter our, breast enhancement.
I think riveting political analysis like we just did, I think that is they're going to be coming in droves.
Yes, we're on the right track because that's all anybody talks about, politics and solving political problems.
Yeah, and we don't need to get drowned in the mire of budgets and money and things that people should care about. We just need to stick with the things that people do care about. Ballrooms and calling each other names. And could you imagine if everybody in this country treated each other like the politicians are treating each other? Oh, wait, that's called X.
Oh, wait, we do. Yeah, that's called Facebook comment section. Yeah, we learn from the great. Yeah, we're just following carrying on an old tradition. Yeah, we all fight each other on X. I wanted to ask you about this because I know it's probably going to turn up a great golden Kevin Myers story. There's the dude that can find your missing stock or dogs. He found a dog once also, got it back where it belongs, with his drones. He flies drones, and it's got like the heat-seeking thing. And with his drones, he can tell the difference between your missing pack mule and an elk. Like he can, his heat seeker knows or whatever. He's got some tech going. So it made me think of, how do you lose your horse? How do horses go missing? In this one case, this pack mule just went bonkers and ran off into the mountains. But give me your best story, Kevin, of a pack trip, a hunt trip, whatever it is. And you had a horse tied, then he wasn't, or whatever it was. The horse just went off.
Well, I was working for a pack outfit just off the corner of Yellowstone up by Pendergraft Peak. It was about 19 miles up into the wilderness. And of course, we just turned 90 head of pack and riding horses out at night. And in the dark early morning hours, I would head up and gather them up, bring them back to camp, and then we would get going for the day. Well, one morning I go out and there are no horses. No horses. I search for them and I search for them and I search for them and I can't find them. And finally, it's starting to get dark. And I finally cut their tracks and they are headed down the trail back to Brooks Lake where the trailhead is. Now, I'm leaving just in the long shadows, the last dying light of the day. And as I'm going down the trail, I see a set of grizzly tracks following along behind these horses in the snow.
Oh, boy.
So that's a little bit nerve-wracking, but not nearly as nerve-wracking as when that bear goes off the trail.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm by myself in the dark, 19 miles ahead of me, just me and my horse. And now there is a grizzly bear that evidently likes the scent of horses. And he's no longer in front of me. At least I kind of knew where he was when I had his tracks. And so that was a pretty interesting night, riding in the cold, coming out of there in the dark. And, of course, my horse, it was riding the horse on eggshells because I knew there was something out there in the dark, and maybe I was making it up in my mind, but I don't think that horse was making it up in his mind. And I managed to get back, and there was 90 head of horses waiting at the gate at the trailhead.
Yeah. Would that look like they were doing nothing? Like, where have you been?
Yeah, we've been waiting. Why will you not let us in?
Yeah, horses have that look. They perfected that look. After they've done everything wrong and you finally find them, they're like, they got that, like, I didn't do it. What? Yeah.
Now, when I was reading that story, I thought, boy, that would be really, really cool to have a drone like that. And then I read that it's $20,000. And me knowing myself, because I haven't been a gamer, I would probably have that thing airborne for about 10 seconds before I crashed it into something.
Yeah, you would wreck it.
And the aforementioned lack of maintenance in my repertoire, and in that case of those 90 head going out, yeah, I guess I could see him, but that doesn't mean I'm going to catch him. I would have ended up making the same ride anyway, except I guess I could have seen where that bear was.
But you're better off hiring the dude. He's surprisingly affordable. He charges $150 for the visit and $50, and that includes your first hour of flight time, where he'll likely find it in the first hour. Every additional hour he has to search is $50. Like, he's cheap as can be.
I tell you what, I have ridden many useless miles searching for cattle in rough country.
Yeah.
And that would be worth it at twice the price if he could tell me where they were.
I can find that. Yeah, I can find them two Mavericks holed up in the wadi for $150. You'd be like, here you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then one last thing, Kevin, Larry Bentley, hats off, dude. He loose trailed 30 quarter horses, 450 miles across Wyoming and Colorado back in 1984. I've loose herded 4, and it was like herding cats, like get them to go in one direction, horses. He did it by himself, 30 quarter horses. All right, dude.
That is real cowboy stuff right there. And I tell you, for anyone who hasn't trailed loose horses like that, this is how it's going to go, especially at that time. Everything's going to go great. You're going to get them lined out. It's going to take you a little while to get them lined out. You finally get them lined out. You're going where you want to go. Then you're going to run into a fence. And then you're going to have to open the gate, get them through that gate. Then you're going to have to spend another half hour getting them all lined out again, and just wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. Everything's good as long as you're moving in a direction. You're right. And then one little disruption, a fence or whatever, a distraction, and bunching them back up together and getting back on the program. Oh, it is not easy. All right. We got to bounce out of here on this Monday, too. I know it's a Tuesday. This is just another Monday for me. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, mostly because of this guy. Computer poison Kevin Meyer.
Well, I'm clicking off. It's going to go smooth from here on out.
Thanks, buddy. Go attend to your generators. We'll see you next week. Cowboy State Daily, Kevin Meyer joining us. We got to take a break. Coming right back with another special guest rolling along on this, I guess it's Tuesday.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Who can you turn to for news you can trust? Your local TV and radio broadcasters. You trust us to keep you safe during times of crisis and to deliver the weather, sports, and entertainment you rely on every day. We bring you the facts you need to make decisions that matter. And as misinformation floods social media, you can trust your local stations to deliver the truth. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress you rely on your local stations for trusted news.
You handle the healthcare, we'll handle the marketing. In need of a spark for marketing your medical practice? Loom Studio provides creative and strategic healthcare marketing that illuminates the path to bigger and better experiences for your business and your patients. We specialize in branding and design, social media, website design, SEO and SEM, not to mention content creation, public and media relations, and marketing metrics to ensure you're getting results. If you're looking to increase your patient engagement and retention, enhance your community impact, and streamline your marketing efforts, our team is ready to help you achieve your goals. Contact us today and learn more at loomstudio.com.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health because What's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day is a new opportunity.
That's cool. Yay!
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.
Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake. David Clausen joins us. David, I had a minor scare here. This cat caught on fire. How many times have you sat down for an interview and I said, hold on, the cat's on fire?
I'll be honest, that's the first.
Okay. Yeah, this cat, he had to go, visit this candle. He's not the smartest cat and caught himself on fire. I've put him out. David Clausen, director of the Center for Biblical Worldview Family Research Council. We're going to talk about a survey that found some astounding findings, is what I would say. The data reveals a widespread confusion about the most basic truths of the Christian faith. Even if you're not of the faith, it's just surprising for those of us in the flock to learn how many of our fellow brothers and sisters have a dusty Bible, I guess. It's surprising. It tells us that we have, your quote is the best, David, and you can retell us the quote, what the data reveals, and we'll dig into the data and the results in a second. But David says this tells us we have not just a cultural problem, but a discipleship problem in the church. We'll try to figure out why things have gone wrong. But first, let's hit the highlights of what you found, beginning with the idea of socialism being acceptable for maybe a third. But first, I want you to define for us, for our listeners, biblical worldview, because we're going to talk about that over and over again. What is it?
Yeah, absolutely crucial and foundational for this conversation. Let's actually start with the term worldview itself. A worldview is really kind of that spiritual, emotional lens through which all of us look out and understand the world. So I've always said, a pair of glasses, if you wear glasses or contacts, you put those glasses or contacts on, and it's through those glasses that you see the world. It's how you interpret your reality. And so again, everybody has a worldview, which is a fundamental perspective on how they view the world, how they understand what is right and wrong, and who determines that. And so a biblical worldview is a worldview that is fundamentally shaped by God's revelation in Scripture. I think all worldviews, Jake, have to answer 4 questions. Why is there something rather than nothing? What's gone wrong in the world? Is there any hope? And where's all this headed? And a biblical worldview answers those questions with the biblical meta-narrative of creation, fall, redemption, and restoration.
Interesting. It is similar to what we all find ourselves asking at some point if we want to make it real personal. Why am I here? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Yeah, and depending on what pair of glasses you have on, maybe it explains why we just cannot see eye to eye on even the most basic of things. For instance, I noticed the survey revealed a general move towards the ideological middle. And I think, and I think others have think, you tell me, David, that's a result of where we are politically, where we have them over here and them on the right, and we just are arguing extremes. And I think many believers just want to say, I'm going to sit in the middle here. I don't want to be involved in that, what is going on in politics right now.
Well, I think you're right. And I think what's the challenge for the church is ultimately there are a lot of issues that are theological and biblical issues first and foremost. So, let's just very briefly take the example of abortion. Abortion, sure, it is a political issue. It's become a very polarizing issue in public policy debates in this country. But I would argue that it is first and foremost an issue of theology. It's an issue of human rights. Those of us who are Christians, agree that there are some issues we can agree to disagree on. How many immigrants do we let in? Does a bank robber get 2 years in prison or 3 years? I think Christians can agree to disagree on some of those issues. There are some issues though where there is a "thus saith the Lord." There is a chapter and verse we can point to. The issue of human life, that's one of them. And so, and just to be clear, that this nationwide research project that we did with, the well-known researcher George Barna, this is polling those who regularly go to church. So, especially come election time, you'll hear things like, 70% of Christians are going to vote for this candidate or 60% are going to vote for this candidate. That's usually based on self-identification. So if a pollster asks you some questions and you tell them you're a Christian, well, you might not have been to church since your in-laws dragged you in 10 years ago on Christmas. The difference with our research, though, is these are regular churchgoers. In fact, 65% of these folks attend church weekly. So we think this really gives us the pulse on what America's most devout actually believe.
Interesting. So what did some of the findings that were surprising, let's start with economics and the fact that 1 in 3 churchgoers said they would prefer socialism to capitalism. That's astounding.
That was astounding. And what's also really interesting, kind of, and this makes it a little bit more understandable, because we did ask the question, your views on fiscal issues and social issues. And we found that 9%, so almost 1 out of 10, told us that they identify as consistently progressive or liberal on fiscal and social issues. Another 11% told us that they were mostly progressive or liberal. So take those two numbers together, that's 20% of folks who regularly go to church that told us that they believed they were consistently or mostly progressive or liberal. To your point, kind of if you look at the graph that we published in the survey, most people are in the middle. 18% said they were mostly moderate, 19% said they were mostly conservative, 15% were consistently conservative, and then another 10% told us that it varies on the issue. And so I think if you look at the church-going population, it is center-right. I think that's pretty clear, but it's not maybe as far on the right as maybe some folks in media would actually assume.
Let's talk about the biblical worldview, the glasses which you see your world in. It shapes everything. The decline of the biblical worldview, and what percentage of churchgoers who believe they have a biblical worldview or believe it's even important. Those numbers were surprising for me.
Oh my goodness, they were. And so what's really helpful about research like this is we did the same survey about 2 years ago. And so you can actually go to our website, frc.org/worldview, download our 2023 report and this most recent one for free. We provide this research, hopefully, so pastors and Bible teachers, those with discipleship opportunities will use this in their teaching and preaching. But in 2023, 57% of churchgoers told us that they thought they had a biblical worldview. That number fell 14 points to 43%. Now, those are those who just even claim. Now, I'm going to argue that it's actually much lower than that, but just the fact that 14% in just 2 years less think they have a biblical worldview or felt comfortable identifying with it, that's a major significant decline, actually.
Yeah. Whether we're talking about whether we think it's important that Israel exists, that the U.S. support Israel or anybody support Israel, whether we're talking about, basic advice on marriage, abortion, personal freedoms, what do we feel about homosexuality, transgenderism, all kinds of stuff. It all gets wonky because maybe these numbers start making sense when you find core beliefs of the Bible are getting fuzzy. People don't have an understanding of what the Bible is saying. What percentage of people believe, for instance, we are inherently sinners. We're born because I know so many people. You can't even begin to have a discussion about faith if you can't agree that we're sinful as out of birth. And it's from Genesis. It's born into sin. It's the whole reason we need a Savior. If we can't even agree on that, we're not going to get too far to the Gospels.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think probably the most important part of this survey, because we do ask a lot of questions on transgenderism, homosexuality, and abortion. By the way, some of the encouraging numbers were that a vast majority of churchgoers still have kind of an orthodox understanding of the family. We actually saw a strong percentage of folks who believe it's important to pray and support Israel. So there were some encouraging finds, but you're alluding to kind of the middle of the report. George Barna, after 40 years of research, he's identified what he calls the 7 cornerstones of a biblical worldview. Again, these are not issues of, real high theology that you need a master of divinity to understand, or, how many angels can sit on the head of a pin or something like that. These are real basic issues of theology, like who is God? And the question you just asked, that's actually the second cornerstone, which is what is the human condition? And we found that only 31% answered the question by saying that people are born into sin and can only be saved from its consequences by Jesus. And to be clear, the way we ask the question, we give people a list of options and then they can choose. So you would think maybe the orthodox answer would just attract the most attention, but it clearly doesn't. In fact, this was 10 points lower than 2 years ago. So 41% chose kind of the orthodox biblical answer 2 years ago. We're down to 31%. Just by the way, 15% chose kind of the Eastern mystic option, that everyone is a divine creature engaged in the eternal pursuit of unity and a perfected consciousness. And, I'm almost tempted to chuckle at that, but because again, I have no idea what that actually means. And yet 15% of people who go to church on Sunday, they saw that option and said, you know what, that does describe the human condition in my view. It shows we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. The research, we're talking to David Clausen, and research that was done. I think we've talked about the results of the research before. Dr. Clausen's the director of the Center of Biblical Worldview. Just a couple other things, basic biblical stuff that, is God the creator of all life? Is there only one God? Did he create us all? And did he create us to live forever? I got news for you. We all have eternal life. The venue is what's going to be the question. And one thing I notice in my walk of life is to say that there's only one right way to do this religion. There's only one way to the Father. People get incensed with that. They believe there's many paths to heaven, let's say. 1/3 of people believe there is only one true way to the Father, and that's not what the Bible says. The Bible does say there's one true way, but the majority think, no, there are many ways.
You're absolutely right. And this is the third cornerstone, the question of salvation. It was 36% that told us they believe that when they die, they'll go to heaven, if only because they confessed their sin, accepted Jesus as their Savior. Again, don't take my word for it. Now, this is the teaching of Jesus. John 14:6, that's actually the verse that Billy Graham asked to be engraved on his tombstone. That's Jesus in the final hours with his disciples. He looks at them and says, no man can go to the Father except through me. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So Jesus actually was very exclusive in the claims he made about himself. So where the Bible's clear, we need to be clear.
One last thing, we're running out of time. David, what's the answer? Is our churches not no longer preaching from the Bible? Are people, is their Bible gathering dust, so to speak? Or, where can we go? How can we get these numbers better, in our opinion?
Yeah. Well, big encouragement from the survey is that a vast majority of churchgoers want additional worldview training. And so, again, my hope with this survey is I never want to beat up on pastors and those with teaching opportunities, but you can use the survey now to teach to the test. And our research shows people want additional training, and that is so encouraging to me.
Find more online. Where do we go, David?
You can go to frc.org/worldview and download the whole survey for free.
Thank you for being on. I wish we had more time, but we know no amount of God or we can move mountains with our faith, but we can't move time apparently. Yeah, we is out of time. David Clausen joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
You bet. Have a blessed day. We're going to take a break for top of the hour news. Our radio station affiliates insist. Here it is.
It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming. From the Cowboy State Daily News Center, I'm Mac Watson. Bill Schilling helped create Wyoming's Hathaway Scholarship, opening college doors for thousands statewide. Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean reports that Schilling started with an idea that was inspired by the Taylor Opportunity Program for Students, or TOPS program.
Bill Schilling is the one who brought a representative of the Taylor Opportunity Program to Wyoming to talk about it to Wyoming business leaders. And so that's where the Hathaway Scholarship got its start.
Wyoming's Hathaway Scholarship is the only program in the country that's protected by the state's constitution. A Wyoming oil field worker said his heart sank Saturday afternoon when he saw an exhausted bull elk trapped in a barbed wire fence along the highway. Cowboy State Daily's Mark Hines spoke with Mitchell Wolf, who says the elk was facing a slow, miserable death, so he stopped and sprung into action.
He decided to flip around, and he got in close, and he noticed that this bull was still breathing. So he's like, I got to do something. So he got out and got his tools and spent about the next 15 or 20 minutes freeing this bull's leg from the barbed wire. And said he poured some water on his face and kind of petted it and talked to it. And so he said he just said a prayer and left the bull there. When he came back again Sunday morning, it was gone.
Wolf lives in Rock Springs and loves bow hunting for elk. Like many hunters, he feels a deep respect for and connection with the animals. I'll be back with more news from the Cowboy State Daily News Center right after this.
The weather's turning oh so frightful this time of year, but those excavation projects, they will persevere. I'm Jan Warren for One Call of Wyoming, here to remind you that no matter how big or how small your digging project is, contacting 811 2 full business days before you begin is required by state law. So stay safe unwrapping presents, not utility lines. From all of us at One Call of Wyoming, happy holidays.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. Wyoming Republican Party leaders adopted a number of resolutions at their meeting in Torrington on Saturday. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that one of the resolutions is asking the legislature to ban the mandate or use of certain vaccines in Wyoming for humans and animals.
They had a big debate about whether to ask the legislature to ban mRNA vaccines. That one did pass. So it's the state party's position now to ask the state legislature to ban these vaccines.
The party passed a motion to have Mark Coep of Crook County distribute a survey to state party leaders to produce a list of 7 legislative priorities going into the lawmaking session that opens February 9th. Almost every color of an aurora could be seen as far south as Mexico during last week's best ever atmospheric event over Wyoming. Cowboy State Daily's Andrew Rossi reports the science behind all those brilliant pigments and shades.
So when coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, interact with Earth's atmosphere, they excite the electrons of the various gases in their different layers of the atmosphere. So it's very complex, but the basic thing is the different gases that are excited by the solar energy, the different colors you get. So when you look very low to the horizon, you see blues because that's nitrogen being excited in the atmosphere. As you get higher up, you see more oxygen, and yellow-green is the most common color you see for auroras because that's where the most abundant oxygen is, and there's a lot of oxygen in the atmosphere, believe it or not. And the solar energy excites those electrons, and then they output this color, which is that yellow-green. And then the further up you get, where there's less oxygen, that's where you get the really deep reds.
Auroras occur in the ionosphere, the layer of Earth's atmosphere that spans from 30 to 60 miles above the surface. Governor Mark Gordon is asking the Wyoming legislature for a little over $11 billion in his biennial state budget. That's up about $755 million from the prior budget's cycle. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that the governor's budget has nearly $3 billion earmarked for the Department of Health.
It's an increase for Department of Health. And that's while there's a subcommittee devoted to gouging the Department of Health. Governor Gordon wrote in his narrative, like, we need healthcare access. We need seniors and vulnerable populations to be healthy, to empower this state. Ken Pendergraft, who chairs the subcommittee that is reviewing the Department of Health's budget, said, looks like an Overton window, like maybe the governor and his agency are trying to set a higher normal than would naturally occur so that the cuts aren't as severe when they do come.
The governor's proposed budget increase for the 2025-26 biennium to the upcoming one represents a boost of about 7.2%. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Cowboy State Daily Show here on a Tuesday. Renee Jean should be here shortly. Can't wait to talk to her. We've got to discuss, we have a lot to discuss with Renee. Some fascinating stories. I love Bill Schilling and the story today about the Hathaway Scholarship. Learned what is the background, what is the impetus, what started the Hathaway Scholarship, because I think one thing we can all agree on in education, and there might not be much we can agree on in anything anymore, but in the world of education, higher education, college, and especially for UW, University of Wyoming, Hathaway Scholarship is a genius idea, and it works. It's working. It's opened the college doors for thousands statewide, and Bill Schilling is the guy who helped create it all. And Renee's got that story in today's Cowboy State Daily. Way to go, Bill. President Trump floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage. Will that help reinvigorate the real estate business? It just might. Renee Jean's story, Trump's 50-year mortgage. Crazy? Or crazy like a fox? She asked some experts in the field and had varying opinions. Other Renee stories, yeah, we'll get to those. How about this notion? I was reading this piece of news from, speaking of real estate, was posted by the National Real Estate Investors Association. And the story concerns healthy cybersecurity in a day and age where there are hackers looming, identity thievers looming everywhere. And I found this interesting on what is the varying strengths of a password. Let's ask Renee. Renee, are you vigilant about password protection, or are you not really? You get lax?
Well, so first of all, I think that if you look, the guy who first recommended that we all have these passwords, that we change them every 30 days, that they be difficult, yada, 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 all that, has since come out and said if he had it to do over again, it wouldn't be his recommendation, that overall they're passé, that there are better ways to approach the security problem. And so I sort of have a cynical view of passwords. No matter how long you make it, there are programs out there that'll crack it in a couple of days. And so what is the point of having 100 different passwords that you can't remember and you can't even get into your own account that some bad guy can just crack in like a day?
Yeah.
And that's why you see people moving to different methods, two-factor authentication, for example, although, seemingly they've found ways to get into that, fingerprint, um, the laptop I have right now, I still have passwords, but it asks for a fingerprint. People have these password managers that are supposed to collect up all their passwords, yada, 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 make it easier so that you can have these unique, unidentifiable passwords for every website. But they become a target, right? Because, that's where all the passwords are, and I'm the bad guy, that's where I'm gonna look. So, those are getting cracked, and I question putting my passwords into something like that that's just got a bullseye on it. So I think it's all messed up.
That's like announcing your savings account if you have a really good, a lot of money in the bank. Yeah, you probably don't. You want to downplay that whole password. Like, here's where I keep all my passwords. You're right. Hackers can sometimes guess your password better than you can remember it. And that's what I was getting to within what hackers are able to do with passwords, depending on how many characters, whether you use upper and lowercase, whether you use the symbols in addition. And they range from, shockingly, the time it takes a hacker to brute force your password. They range from instantly, doesn't get any faster than that, to, maybe a couple of weeks they got to grind away at it. But none of us are safe.
They have programs that do this too. So they're not actually guessing or anything. It's a program. But, if your patterns are too predictable, and once they get one password, if you're using the same password everywhere, obviously they've got your password everywhere. Everybody, though, I think most people have patterns, right? And I'm not going to tell you what mine are because
your birthday.
That would be dumb.
Right.
But, and I can't, if I don't do some kind of pattern, I can't remember all these passwords. I can't write them all down. If I put them in a so-called password organizer protector thing, I don't think that's really very protected because, like I said, that's got the big bullseye on it that says, oh, hey, here's all my passwords.
Totally. The computer, when the computer suggests a password and it's some wicked long line, you're never going to remember, but you're going to put it in the password. Like, that does not seem cyber safe because a computer is the one that told you to do the password to begin with. So obviously it's going to get hacked. My best is, something to come out of my brain, but the downside of that is I'm going to forget it. I use this.
I put two-factor authentication on everything that I can. And it's annoying to have to go through that because you got to put your password in, and then they're going to text you a code.
Yeah.
And you got to put that in. But for I'd say probably most of the kind of attacks most people face, two-factor authentication is going to protect you from those casual hackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are ways to hack into that two-factor authentication. I read a story a while back about that, how they had managed to intercept that session so that they could complete the two-factor authentication and hack your account. But I think that's pretty rare. That's much rarer than other forms of attack. And I think that will protect you in a lot of the cases to just have that two-factor authentication on. And I would I kind of separate my passwords to, things that I don't really care about, social media, yada, yada, yada. Maybe I'm not as careful about the password there, but then things I really care about, banks, etc., they have a completely different password. That's a different pattern. I really don't want that password to get out kind of thing. And so I kind of bifurcate it that way. So, if somebody gets my social media password, they'll notice that it's very similar. It's got this pattern that they can follow on other sites, subscriptions to, a newspaper or something. But I don't follow the same pattern for
important passwords.
Yeah, like when it comes to money, I do the same thing. Yeah, my password's the same for everything except the bank. The bank, my banking is. I changed that one. Otherwise, you know what? If somebody wants to get into my Minecraft account, have fun with that.
The sad part though is I can't remember the bank password.
Right.
It is stored on the computer, so I'm not happy about that necessarily. But the bank password, if you get it wrong more than twice, it locks the account out and you can't get back in. So it's not as vulnerable because of that. You really can't be guessing the password or, so there's that.
Well, I wasn't going to go down that road, though. I just surprised you with that topic. I do want to get into that, though, because
you got more than you bargained for. Is that what you're telling me?
There's nothing I can't bring up that Renee cannot bring like some expertise to. I'm assured of that. So I just throw it out there. I throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And it all sticks with Renee Jean. Especially learning about, I love this, Bill Schilling, wherever he goes. If people find out he's the guy who helped get that Hathaway scholarship going at UW, how many thousands of lives have been changed because of that successful program? What a cool guy.
Right. Yeah. Listening to him talk and tell stories about the state, I learned a lot about Wyoming history just listening to him. He's been around. He was the leader of Wyoming Business Alliance for 40 years. So 4 decades in Wyoming. He knows a lot of its history. He was involved in a lot of its history. He had a hand in like the Kern River pipeline, which was a big deal. Got Wyoming stranded gas out of the Jonah gas field. And so I think it's pretty interesting to learn about some of that stuff.
I mean, he is a legit rock star. I love the story about him, like checking into a hotel or something, and he's just chatting it up with somebody, and she's like, they were talking about college and the Hathaway scholarship, and she's like, you know an awful lot about the Hathaway. He's like, yeah, I invented it. She like gives him a big old bear hug like he's a rock star.
Yeah. He's a interesting person and pretty not, I thought he was really a pretty nice guy when I talked to him too. So
the visual, Schilling's done a lot of things for Wyoming and on behalf of the state, but his best known achievement maybe is this merit-based scholarship called Hathaway. It ensures any student with a C+ or better grades has a path to college, and many have taken advantage of it, thousands for sure. What else? What about the 50-year mortgage Trump's floating around? Is that crazy, or is it crazy like a fox?
Yeah, I think it's got to be the right situation for that to be truly useful. You are going to pay more in the long run, a lot more in interest charges. But I had a reader reach out to me, and I think this is kind of interesting. I may propose it for a follow-up. In Germany, they had 50-year mortgages in Germany, and usually what would happen is the people buying it on the documents would be the grandfather, the grandfather's son, and then the grandson. So 3 generations basically signing up for making sure that this home is paid for. If you're buying something like that, it's just a legacy type of property, and you're going to have 3 people to shepherd it through, maybe that makes sense. You can buy something that's a bit more hefty, so to speak.
Yeah.
Something planning to keep in your family, like a generational property or something.
Yeah, I think if your intent in home buying is old-fashioned, meaning like we're going to buy a home and we're going to live here all our lives, and so are our kids, and so are their kids. The way we do real estate now is so much more temporary. I mean, we're doing it to put away assets somewhere to realize value out of the home, and to do that, you can't have a 50-year mortgage. But I don't know.
Well,
Interesting.
you can. It just takes a lot longer. I mean,
Yeah.
if you buy a house when you're 20, sucker wouldn't be paid off until you're 70.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't even make it to the age of 70. So, clearly the interest rate on a 50-year loan is going to have to be higher because there's higher risk. It's mind-boggling to kind of think about it. But I thought that was interesting that in Germany, they've already had 50-year mortgages. They've already kind of assimilated that into I don't know if they still have them. I'd have to talk to my reader about that, but that's pretty interesting. But you're going to pay a lot more. It's just like with the car company. They try to sell you on a longer term for the loan because of the lower monthly payment. And they're getting a payday for that, though. You're like doubling the interest that you're paying if the time period is too long. You got to look at that, I think, when you buy a car and look at the overall cost of it for the two and realize, that's the trade-off. If you're going to lengthen the term of the loan, you're going to pay a lot more to the bank.
Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier, Renee. Kevin and I, that's so funny about, how to buy a car, and some of the best piece of advice you can give someone is get the out the door price settled before you say whether you're going to pay cash or finance, and try to keep it with the total price of the vehicle, not the monthly payment. They like to talk in terms of monthly payment. Here's what this car costs per month. You're like, what's the total price of the car? Yeah.
They're distracting you with that information. And I would add the other thing you got to do is come in there with your own financing. It won't be the greatest interest rate. But when I bought my Mini Cooper, for example, I came in with my own financing. Their interest rate was higher than my bank's for an unsecured loan. Okay, well, my bank is offering me this interest rate. So if you can't beat that, I'm going to go with them. And they immediately lowered the interest rate. Not much under what my bank was offering, but it was something. If I hadn't done that saved me thousands of dollars.
Good advice on buying a car. Good advice on your password protection. Renee is helping us out with everything. Renee, I didn't take you for a big risk taker, but here you are bungee jumping. Are you crazy?
I know, right? I saw the name of that and I was like, what in the heck? Some kind of new fitness fad for the fit, because I see that all the time, these kind of workouts that really the fit would be able to do. And I thought this was another one of those. And there's a really smart thing about it is that bungee cord is lifting. So it's taking some pressure off your joints. Yeah. It's making it a little bit easier for you to work out. And I think that's not a bad approach for people who are, maybe they have an issue with their knees or kind of bad, but they'd still like to work out. But that it's hard to do, when you've got joints that are wanting to give out on you. So this is a smart approach, I think, actually. It's not as ridiculous as it sounds.
It sounds faddish, but I could see it sticking around. I see the logic behind it for sure.
It's fun too. I mean, who doesn't want to fly through the air with the greatest of ease?
And I'm like, the first thing I thought of my sick mind, you actually anticipated, because one of the subheads later in the story is, do people bump into each other sometimes? That's like the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Yeah. I'm like, oh, they're all going to crash into each other, these Peter Pans. Collisions everywhere.
They are choreographed workouts, Everybody's supposed to be going the same way so that nobody runs into each other. But accidents happen, especially with beginners.
Read the story. I tried ridiculous bungee fitness, and it wasn't as ridiculous as I thought. Renee Jean, she tried it. Bungee jumping, not that kind of bungee jumping, a different kind. Thanks, Renee.
Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day. You too.
Bye-bye now.
Cowboy State Daily Show moving along on a Monday, Tuesday. You had to be here earlier. We're still calling today a Monday because it's just, today is acting like a Monday. Let's get a break in here, and we'll be back with more. I do want to finish up this conversation about password and what passwords are the most robust according to the experts and which are very hackable. You might be surprised. We'll do that after this break.
Welcome to The Jake Show on Cowboy State Daily, Wyoming's daily dose of raw, unfiltered, and occasionally uncomfortable truth.
I don't do talking points. I do reality.
No spin, no fluff, just Jake. Local issues, national nonsense, and zero BS. It's truth, sarcasm, and grit, shaken, not stirred.
I just call it like I see it, and I see a lot of Let's just say I see a lot.
From the capital to the county fair, if it matters to Wyoming, Jake's got something to say, and he's not asking permission.
The West was built by people who weren't afraid to speak up. I'm just keeping the tradition alive.
The Jake Show, weekdays on cowboystatedaily.com and wherever you get your dose of reality.
Not for the easily rattled, perfect for everyone else.
This is the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Nestled between Casper Mountain and the North Platte River, you'll find the heart of Wyoming. With a bustling downtown centered around our outdoor haven, Casper is for adventurers, freedom seekers, and rule breakers who find beauty off the beaten path. So if touchable history, a vibrant community, and uninterrupted outdoor recreation define your travel itinerary, allow us to welcome you to the one and only Casper, Wyoming. Plan your trip at visitcasper.com.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
OMG, there's gonna be a Real Housewives of Rhode Island. Talk about TV, engaging TV you didn't know you needed. Real Housewives, just when you thought it couldn't sink any lower, the whole premise of the show, with all apologies to those of you viewers who watch that, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of, where else have they been? Atlanta. Whose bright idea was it to continue the Housewives franchise in Rhode Island? No, Rhode Island's like this small. And if that show isn't grating enough on your whole psyche, the Rhode Island accent will be grating. Oh, The Rhode Island accent is like a mixture of New York. It's like a mixture of somebody from the Bronx grew up in Boston. It's like a mix of Boston and New York accents. The two most annoying East Coast accents. If they clashed, if they had a baby, it would be the Rhode Island accent. Think Peter Griffin of cartoon fame. That accent coming out of a bunch of Botoxed lips and Botox, but Real Housewives of Long Island. The first teaser is out. The trailer, I did watch it. It's the only Housewives show. I don't watch it. Honest, I don't. Set to premiere sometime in 2026. No hard release date yet. But we do know the cast. The cast was unveiled in Las Vegas November 16th at BravoCon 2025. And the cast is very Italian, supposedly, because I didn't know this. Rhode Island has a big, robust Italian population. I didn't realize. Like 25% Italian. So here are the, and I'm thinking, like, what are the stereotypes? How is the Housewives of Rhode Island going to be any different than the Housewives in New Jersey? So I'm thinking, like, what are the Rhode Island stereotypes? And one that I thought of, and sure enough, the internet says so, is if you've ever met a Rhode Islander, they're extremely proud of their state, like over the top proud. Like, I love Wyoming. I'll talk Wyoming up. That's what I do every day, is talk up Wyoming. I love Wyoming, but not to the degree that Rhode Islanders love Rhode Island. And they probably have to be that way. They probably have to be extra when it comes to state pride because they're so small. You're so tiny, Rhode Island. Every time Rhode Island is used as an example to show how small something is, I'm sure it takes a little chip off the shoulder of those Rhode Islanders, and they got to put the chip back on. How dare you? People from Rhode Island, for the most part, are very, 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 very proud of their state. Also, Rhode Islanders drive like crap. Oh, don't say you don't. They're right up there with Bostoners. They probably learned from Boston. Rhode Islanders drive terrible. And it's a stereotype, and they all know it. You'll admit it. Also, Rhode Islanders, by virtue of how small that state is, here's an interesting thing. Total opposite of Wyoming. Rhode Islanders consider any car trip that takes more than 20 minutes, they call that a road trip. Like, you better pack a lunch. If you're just going, if you're going down the road to a stop, it takes me 20 minutes just to get to the nearest gas station or grocery store. If people take a 20-minute trip to the grocery store and it's 20 minutes or more in Rhode Island, what you'll hear Rhode Islanders say in that accent of theirs is, oh, you're driving all the way to the Walmart, the one 20 minutes away, better pack a lunch. It's going to be a long 20 minutes. 20-minute drive for us in Wyoming is short, real short. Also, folks in Long Island or Rhode Island, they do the coffee milk. I don't even know what that is. But it's everyone in Rhode Island, and guaranteed the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, their main, you'll see product placement in this show. You watch. And the product is going to be Narragansett Autocrat Coffee Milk Stout. Guaranteed. Everyone in Rhode Island is hooked on it. Just like everyone in Wyoming drinks Coors Light, everyone in Rhode Island drinks Narragansett Autocrat Coffee Milk Stout. The Coffee Milk Stout Coffee milk is everything in Rhode Island. Rhode Islanders are pretty tough when it comes to weather. They laugh at nor'easters. Nor'easters were born in Rhode Island. Rhode Islanders invented the nor'easter. So storms, no problem. We'll grant you that, Rhode Island. They are tough when it comes to weather. Rhode Islanders, here's why Real Housewives of Rhode Island works. Because Rhode Islanders, as a stereotype, love gossip. And it stands to reason because Rhode Island's so small, everyone kind of knows everyone in that state, or everyone has a third cousin who's a second uncle who's a nose. You know what I mean? Rhode Island is small that way. They're all share the same DNA. Kind of. Here's the... I'm going to play a little bit of the trailer, Housewives of Long Island. Just to show you, I'm not making this up, just to prove it. Here's a little bit of the trailer for Housewives of Long Island. I'm so excited to see
In Rhode Island, everyone knows everyone. People here, they don't look down on other states, but they are weirded out that other states exist.
It's teeny.
That's the state pride.
To us, it's the center of the universe.
Yeah, they love their state.
Welcome to Rhode Island, where nobody tells anybody the truth, and everybody just lies to each other's faces, but talk behind their back. Welcome. I love it here.
Oh, some gossipy
Small
stuff.
state with the biggest attitude. What are you gonna do?
Rhode Island's small, so we all know each other.
We're finally here.
Your friends, families know each other.
Alicia, have you seen Liz? Alicia was best friends with my sister. We know your aunt, we know your uncle, we know your third cousin.
Yeah.
Everybody has like these deep roots.
All the interbreeding. See, all the stereotypes I thought of Rhode Island. It's all there. You'll see. This show debuts sometime next year. Aren't you excited? Just when you thought the Housewives franchise has run out of places to be a venue, the Real Housewives of Rhode Island will appear at a TV station near you sometime next year. I can't wait. All right, let's get serious. No more Real Housewives stuff. Let's talk about real things like the affordability of healthcare. Huge issue. And I want to talk about who's going to feel the crunch the most when, and you know what? I want to get that Blue Cross Blue woman on. I had like the top ranking BCBS of Wyoming. I don't know what they call the director, president, superintendent. I don't know. I had her on the show months ago. We should have her back on because this issue of how much your rates are going to go up, why they're going to go up, what does the Affordable Care Act subsidies, what do they do to keep your rates low? And when they expire at the end of this year, what's going to happen? Everybody's talking about this. This affects all of us. And it's going to hit Wyoming hard. Of the states where ACA is going to affect, premiums are going to rise the most, Wyoming is on the list as one of the worst. Your rates are expected in Wyoming to double. And that's, I mean, it's worse in other places. Florida, I think, the rates are expected to triple. But Wyomingites could see extra pain when it comes to expiring ACA tax subsidies. It's a story it's going to hit hard. It's going to affect us. I'm going to get that woman on from Blue Cross Blue Shield. States receiving ACA tax credits, the top 10 and the bottom 10. So these are the states that will be affected most. Florida receives the most ACA tax credits. So Florida rates going to go bonkers at the end of the year if and when ACA tax credits expire. Georgia's right up there in the list. Texas, Mississippi. Utah in the Rocky Mountain West, Utah is among the top, and so is Wyoming, all above the national average. The national average of those receiving ACA tax credits, the states that are above that are going to feel the extra pain of increasing rates. Wyoming is in that list. Wyoming, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Utah, Florida, Georgia top the list. Least affected, if you want to go the other way, District of Columbia, New York, Hawaii, Minnesota. I don't know the factors of why. I would assume a lot of it has to do with just total population. But I'm sure it's complex. There are many factors. That's why we got to have the Blue Cross Blue Shield spokesperson, that person on the show, and learn how bad it's going to be and why. It's going to be sticker shock. Every media agency is reporting. Jackson Hole News and Guide had quotes from the Blue Cross Blue Shield woman the other day. I read that. WyoFile has a story called, this dropped on November 3rd, Sticker Shock. Wyomingites could see skyrocketing bills on ACA health insurance marketplace. Yeah, this is the issue of the day. Not the Epstein files, not the silliness going on in politics. Most Americans, this is what they care about. And this is the reason why I have to say the Democrats were so dogged about not voting through that CR and saying they made it all about the expiring ACA tax credits. They wanted them extended. Republicans did not. I think we can all agree the whole system is messed up. The Band-Aid fix is extending the ACA tax credit, sure. The real fix that the Republicans are pursuing is, I don't know, and I don't think they do either. But it's got to be fixed. It hits us all, and it's hitting hard. Some are choosing in the next year, 2026, many families, and we're talking about households that pull down six-figure salaries. We're talking about, this isn't the very, very poor. This is middle America, middle class. Many next year will choose to go without health insurance and just play that gamble and hope their savings can get them through mild health concerns. Man, yeah, that's going to be serious stuff. I want to talk about the feud between Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and somebody called Billie Eilish. Maybe the most entitled singer in the world. Those two have been going at it, man. I also want to talk about how the Louvre was again infiltrated. You would think they would beef up security after they already had the jewel heist. But the Louvre got victimized again. It's time to relook at the security there. And we'll talk about Glenn Powell's monologue on Saturday Night Live last weekend. What do you think? Did you watch it? We'll do all that when we come back. This final break on the Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake.
Wyoming is the Cowboy State. From corner to corner, there are so many stories to be told, and more cowboys and cowgirls are turning to the Cowboy State Daily News team to keep them in touch with what's happening both locally and in other parts of Wyoming. I'm Riley Strand, videographer and production assistant for Cowboy State Daily Video News. We're proud to bring the most important stories to our viewers every day. The stories that start conversations, the stories that make us laugh, the stories that make us think. Our experienced journalists at Cowboy State Daily are crisscrossing the state every day, talking to those who know the news best. Every day, host Wendy Core and I talk to the reporters who are covering the topics, issues, and people that are important to Wyomingites. And in our daily newscast, we bring you those stories. Tune into the Cowboy State Daily Video Newscast every morning, only on cowboystatedaily.com.
You're listening to the Cowboy State Daily Radio Network.
Wyoming is a place of unlimited potential, a place that inspires us to dream. Since 2014, Wyo Lotto has given back over $180 million to our great state through transfers, winnings, commissions, and more. Dollars that have gone directly into your cities, towns, and counties. Dollars that have changed lives and set dreams in motion. Thank you, Wyoming, for a legendary 10 years. We can't wait to dream up what's next.
Might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. You may not even know you have it, but you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand. With early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
So I wanted to talk with you and your mom today, Lily, because of some of the changes your friends and teachers have seen in you lately. And along with the incident the other day, you were with Derek when he was caught selling marijuana.
Yeah, he was selling it.
Honey, we know. But we care about you and want to know what's going on.
That's right. We'd like to understand it better and see how we might help. And if weed is a part of it, we want to make sure you know about the negative consequences for someone your age. So, can we talk?
Talk. They hear you.
Oh, yeah, I promised I was going to tell you some cybersecurity tips about your password. National Real Estate Investors Association shared some of the more hackable passwords, online mischief, and how to safeguard yourself from those hackers. They put out a chart of the time it takes a hacker to brute force your password in this day and age in 2025. In other words, how long, with the aid of artificial intelligence and bots and computers working for you, it's not like the hacker is just going to sit down and guess, like using your birthday, or the hacker is going to go through every iteration of possibilities. If you have a 4-character password, the hacker's not going to say, well, let's try 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 3. Nope. Let's try 1, 2, 3, And computers can be instructed to go through all the possibilities of a 4-character password. That's what we're talking about. If we put the computer to task, and it just hammers away at your password trying to guess it, how long would it take to guess your password if you have a 4-character password, numbers only? Well, you're not secure for very long. The time it would take a hacker to brute force your password in that case, instantly. How about a 5-character numbers only? Instantly. All the way up until 8. Your 8-character password, if it is all numbers, can be guessed by a hacker instantly. It's not until you get up to 9 digits, all 9 numbers, that would take a computer 2 hours to figure out your password. That's it. 10-character password that's all numbers, it would take a computer a day. 1 week, if it was 11 characters, all numbers. The toughest, if you insist on going all numbers, not using any letters, the toughest passwords to hack are the longest. An 18-character string of numbers would take a computer hacker, 284,000 years. So you're finally safe if you can remember the 18 numbers you just put in there. What about a mix of numbers and lowercase letters only? If you're only using 4-character string, instantly. 5-character string, instantly. You need to get up there to like 10 characters, a mix of lowercase letters and numbers, and the time it takes hackers would jump to 40 years. The safest is obviously more characters. 4 characters, even using a mix of upper and lowercase with numbers, with special symbols, still instantly hacked. If your password is 4 characters long, it's instantly hackable no matter what you put in there. If you mix in some upper and lowercase and you throw in a symbol and you're 5 characters long, take a computer about 4 hours to figure it out. Mixture of numbers, upper and lowercase, and a symbol. And these are the suggestions you often get from when you're trying to put a new password in. It says, oh, welcome, how would you like to make a new account? What do you want your password to be? If it will often suggest, whatever website it is, that you mix in numbers with upper and lowercase and the use of at least one symbol, right? That's the basic advice, because it is the most robust password, but make sure it's at least 10 characters long, because if it's 4, it's instantly hackable. If it's 5 characters long, it'll take 4 hours. If it's 6-character long string of password, it will take 2 weeks, but the computer will still hack into you. 2 weeks. That's still not long enough. 7 characters long, numbers mixed with upper, lowercase, and a symbol. 7 characters long will take 2 years. Now you're starting to get into some cyber protection, huh? Yeah. Or, as Renee pointed out, we're all up against our inability to even remember our passwords. The trickier we get, the worse it makes it for us, right? Because we're going to forget them. The Louvre is in trouble again. A couple of German pranksters were able to not take anything out of the Louvre, but put something in, which is just as bad. The Louvre security should make it tougher for things like this to happen. The Louvre security under scrutiny again after pranksters outsmarted the museum security and placed a painting in the same room as the famous Mona Lisa. They put up their version of a Mona Lisa very next to the actual Mona Lisa, and it hung there. It's hung there for a few minutes before it was noticed. Now, here's the protection the Louvre has now. You should not be able to bring in your own painting, your own artwork, right? They have security for that. They have screening for that, screening that looks for actual artwork. But what the screeners actually look for is the frame, because you could bring a rolled up canvas and security would not detect that. The metal detectors wouldn't detect it. There's also imaging, similar to what TSA uses at airports. And what it'll look for is an actual frame. Like, they've already thought of that at the Louvre. Nobody should be bringing art. Nobody should be bringing a painting. The fear is you could swap. Obviously, you could bring in a replica Mona Lisa, swap it for the real one, presumably, maybe. In the luckiest of luck, you could get away with it. So the screeners look for frames. How these 2 German dummies were able to get past that? They used Legos and built the frame after they already got in. They got the Legos through the screening. They got a rolled up canvas, the actual artwork, which was a crude replica of Leonardo's Mona Lisa. And they got past security by making the frame Legos, and they built it after they got in. Neil and Sen, two German pranksters, I don't know how much trouble they're in. They shared this online. I called them Germans. They're a Belgian duo, but they were speaking in German. Neil and Sen, they've gone viral for sneaking in their own created painting into the Louvre Museum just weeks after the historic heist that really was a bit of an embarrassment for the Louvre. So security still needs to be tightened up a little bit. President Trump today is welcoming the Saudi crown prince, known for his initials MBS. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, will be stopping by the White House today. President Trump rolling out the gold carpet because the Arabs love their gold, and so does Trump. I don't think it's the red carpet. He's rolling out the gold carpet. Too bad his ballroom isn't going to be completed, so I don't know where he's going to do the hosting, whether there's a big party involved. But the White House prepared an arrival ceremony laden with fanfare for the Crown Prince, complete with cannons and horses. The White House is doing it up, rolled out the literal red carpet on MBS's arrival, although I would seriously change that to the golden carpet. The U.S. and Saudi flags flying on the White House South Lawn today, and it's all to make MBS feel at home. Ahead of bin Salman's arrival, President Trump told reporters Monday that the U.S. had agreed to sell F-35 fighter jets to the Saudis, and I don't know what they're going to do with those. Black tie dinner, 120 invited guests, and a big to-do as the U.S. welcomes the Saudi Prince MBS today. It's going on in the White House as we speak or later today. And finally, Billie Eilish, you may have heard, the singer, Grammy Award-winning singer, Billie Eilish, called out Elon Musk the other day. She was receiving an award. It was some kind of award show, the Wall Street Journal Innovator Awards. She was making an acceptance speech, and she called out billionaires for hoarding their wealth, and she specifically targeted Elon Musk. She said there are people in need of empathy, people who are able to help and are not helping. She pointed her finger right at Musk and called him a pathetic P word and a B word and a coward for hoarding his wealth during global crisis. Billie Eilish, who is not exactly penniless, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know exactly her net worth, but Billie Eilish, one of the most famous singer-songwriters right now, cannot be hurting for money. I just found it interesting that she in a glass house is chucking rocks. Elon Musk did respond finally to being called out and basically said he didn't... I think he tweeted it. He answered a tweet and basically said, quote, Elon Musk from his authenticated X account said, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Woo! So the Billie Eilish Elon Musk feud continues, just in case you were wondering about that. Well, that's about all the business we can handle on a Monday/Tuesday. Cowboy State Daily Show with Jake wraps up this hour and this morning. We'll see you again tomorrow, same time. Once again, our YouTube issues this morning were due to a global-wide outage. So it was nothing that I messed up. I just want to go on record. But we got it all fixed up. We'll see you tomorrow at all the usual places. Have a great Tuesday, yo.
Good morning. This is the Cowboy State Daily Morning Show with Jake. The new way Wyoming wakes up.